Okay. So we've talked a lot this week about what our habits are doing for us. I've mentioned discipline. I want to talk about a little bit more about this and from a different perspective, maybe a different example that I didn't touch. I feel a bit repetitive this week, but this is really important. So, most people assume they have a willpower problem. If you can understand that when you get into survival mode, when you hit that stress, that you go back to old habits, then you have to realize that means it's not a problem with your willpower. You have a coping strategy that is no longer serving you in some way, or it's causing a different problem. And your brain hasn't updated the software, or when it goes in survival mode, it automatically goes back to it. So think about somebody who's an alcoholic. They have that glass of wine. They feel it turn the volume down on the anxiety when their nervous system was overwhelmed, or whatever purpose there was behind the drinking habit. The nail biting, another great example of this. It gave you something to do with your hands while your brain was racing. That was what nail biting always did for me when I did that. Now I just keep them short because I play guitar. The doom scrolling, it distracted you from something you didn't want to feel, or that project you didn't want to work on, something you didn't want to do. All of these things worked to accomplish whatever that goal was. And we've talked about this. They regulated their nervous system. And the brain, as I've mentioned, remembers what works. So if you're having trouble thinking about it logically, if you're having trouble getting out of those feelings, I want you to get curious. I want you to stop and not try to just stop the habit, but I want you to get curious about those feelings. Maybe sit with them for a few minutes. I want you to think about if those feelings are so bad. And sometimes they will definitely be that bad or worse. And sometimes they're not. And you're like, why did I continue doing this thing when I could have just stopped? Sometimes we have to sit with a feeling for a moment to be able to change it. Whether that means coming up with a solution or just realizing that it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying which your scenario is going to be. Both are possible, both are completely valid responses. But you don't have to like the habit to understand why your brain keeps choosing it. Once you know the function, you can find another way to get at it. And then you can update the strategy. You can find new ways. And if you're struggling, you know the solution, but you can't find the alternative, come up with an options. Call me or another hypnotist and we'll help you make it happen. But don't suffer. Don't put yourself through that because you think it's impossible, because I guarantee you, you can change this and you can overcome it. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great weekend, and keep fighting for yourself. Be there for yourself as much as you'd be there for someone else. Until next week, I'm out.